to stabilize ourselves in remembrance of Baba and free ourselves from any thought that's bothering us at this point in time. How do I free myself from the bondage of attachment while I'm living in this world is often a question that each one of us ourselves. Today's Murli is an answer to this question. Baba is giving us simple tips as to how do we free ourselves from attachment while living in this world as an householder. He gives us simple tips right from how to see ourselves in the mirror of knowledge each moment. And towards the closing of the Murli, he speaks about how do we stabilize ourselves in 5 forms while performing our actions, our deeds, while thinking about how to perform ourselves in this Lokik world. So let's read this Murli together. Original date of the Murli is 22nd of July, 1972. Title of the Murli is Different Tips to Become a Destroyer of Attachment. While we all listen to this Murli is full of questions, inquiry questions, reflection questions that Baba is putting to us. And then he gives us tips to how to be free from attachment. So let's listen this Murli from the whole perspective of reflecting as to how I am performing my actions in this world and where is that I see a gap for myself that I need to bridge in. Does each one of you consider yourself to be an embodiment of remembrance? What does your stage become when you become an embodiment of remembrance? When are you able to have this stage? You become an embodiment of remembrance when you become a conqueror of attachment. You become an embodiment of remembrance when you become a conqueror of attachment. So, have you become such conquerors of attachment, an embodiment of remembrance? Or are you at present the embodiments of forgetfulness? In Hindi, we have 2 beautiful words called smriti and vismriti. So are you stabilizing yourself and being an embodiment of remembrance, or you are an embodiment of vismriti, that is forgetfulness? From being an embodiment of remembrance, why do you become forgetful? There must definitely be some attachment still remaining. So Baba is answering that question. He says, check for yourself. And he assures that there must definitely be some attachment still remaining. So, do you not know how to fulfill the first promise you made to the Father, that you will break away from all other relationships and have a relationship with only the one? Do you not know how to fulfill the first promise? If you do not fulfill the first promise, how will you claim a right to the first kingdom or come in connection with that first kingdom? Baba is talking about the first kingdom in the golden age. Do you wish to come into the kingdom of the second birth? Those who fulfill the first promise of being the conqueror of attachment are those who come into the kingdom of the first birth. Call it the first promise, the first lesson, the first aspect of knowledge, or the first elevated thought of the alokik birth. Do you find it difficult to fulfill this? Did you find it difficult in any birth to stabilize yourself in your own original form or to stay in the awareness of the self? By easily having that awareness, you were the embodiment of that remembrance. So, why do you find it difficult to keep the original form of this alokik birth in your awareness? This whole conversation is reflecting further in the Murli. It is said, even for ordinary human beings, that the speciality of human soul is that they are able to do whatever they want, and that this is the main difference between animals and human beings. Therefore, since ordinary human beings demonstrate that they can do whatever they want, can you elevated human souls, souls who are the embodiment of power, knowledgeful souls, souls who come into connection and relationship with the Father, souls who receive direct sustenance from the Father, the worship-worthy souls, souls who receive an even more elevated status than the Father. Here, Baba, when I was reflecting, means that today Baba is giving us a sustenance to become the souls, pure souls in the golden age, Devi Swarup, and then in the Dwapar Yuga, you become the deity Swarups. Therefore, Baba says, you souls who receive an even more elevated status than the Father, can you souls not do whatever you want? Otherwise, what would be the difference between ordinary human beings and elevated human beings? Ordinary souls can do whatever they want, but there's a challenge there. Let's see what is that but. But they are not able to do it as they want, when they want, because they have the power of matter. They do not have godly power. Souls who have godly power can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and as they want. Let's underline this statement. Souls who have godly power can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and as they want. So, can you not put the speciality into the practical form? Or do you also still say that you did not wish that to happen, but it happened? That you are not able to do whatever you want to do? These are not the words of souls who are master almighty authorities or of elevated souls. So let's take this homework to be in the self-respect of who I am is a soul who is Master Almighty Authority. These are the words of ordinary souls. So, do you consider yourselves to be ordinary souls? Do you forget your alokik life and your alokik karma? Further, Baba explains what is our alokik life and what is our alokik karma. Why is there attachment to anything physical, any person or anything? Have you not yet experienced the difference between the things you see and the attainments of this alokik birth to be like that of day and night? Have you not yet finished the experience of the sorrow and peacelessness which is received through corporal feelings? When you took this alokik birth, did you not finish the relationships and connections with the people you see of this old world? Since you have taken a new birth, have you not yet finished with the old relationships? In a new birth, does one have attachment to the previous relationships? Here is the connection of what few minutes back Baba was talking about Lokik and Alokik birth. So, how can you have attachment to people? Since the birth has changed, then together with the birth, have your relationships and activity not changed? Or perhaps you would say that you have not yet had an alokik birth. In an ordinary way, your karma, relationships, and connections are according to wherever you take birth. So when the soul leaves the body and take another birth, Baba is talking about that here. He says, in an ordinary way, your karma, relationships, and connections are according to wherever you take birth. So then, here also, in alokik birth also, when you have an alokik birth, why do you have lokik relationships and lokik activity? So, is it easy or difficult to become the conquerors of attachment? Why do you find it difficult? When attachment is created, do you not look at your own face? You have received a mirror, have you not? Do you not keep the mirror with you? If you look at your face, your attachment will finish. If you develop the practice of looking into the mirror, then after developing this practice, even against your conscious wish, you will be pulled towards the mirror. So this is a mention about how when we see ourselves in the mirror in our lokik life while we're getting ready to attend any function or any meetings, we will see to it that everything is perfect and automatically we'll see into the mirror before we leave home. So here Baba is talking about why in your alokik birth you don't see your face in the mirror of knowledge. Many have the habit of looking into a mirror again and again in a physical way. They do not make a program for it, but they automatically move towards the mirror because they have that practice. Here also, if you continue to look into the mirror of knowledge, into the mirror of your stage of self-respect, then from body consciousness, you will easily be able to come into your stage of self-respect. When you feel that there is something not quite right physically, by looking into the mirror, you are instantly able to put it right. In the same way, when you look at your true form in this alokik mirror, true form of who I am is a soul, and where is self-respect point, and the knowledge that I receive from the Father, the sustenance that I receive from the Father, the power that this knowledge has given me, if I truly see myself in that form, in this alokik mirror, can I not see that? Baba mentions here, he says that, can you not see yourself changing? Let's read the statement. In the same way, when you look at your true form in this alokik mirror and see that you have changed the form of wasteful thoughts, wasteful words, wasteful karma, and relationships that you had when you came into body consciousness, from wasteful to powerful, then would there still be attachment? And when you have become a conqueror of attachment, then together with being a conqueror of attachment, you will automatically have constantly become an embodiment of remembrance. Is it not easy? When you have all attainments from the one, can you not be a satisfied soul through that? When someone is lacking something, then he is not a satisfied soul. So do you not experience having all attainments? Have you not become a satisfied soul? Have any of these souls in so many births been able to give you that which the Father gives you now? When many souls have not been able to give you that attainment in many births, whereas through the Father you have attained it in 1 second, then to where should the intellect be drawn? To those who make you stumble, who make you cry, who reject you, or to the one who gives you a destination? Just as you ask other souls many questions, so Baba also has this one question for you souls. Until now, you have not yet been able to give an answer to this one question. Those who have given an answer to this one question remain content all the time. Those who have not given an answer repeatedly comes into the stage of descent. In order to become the conquerors of attachment, you will have to change your form to become the embodiment of remembrance. When there is the awareness that you are householders, there is attachment. So when I get entangled in my responsibility, daily responsibility of who I am in this house as a mother or a daughter or a father, when I come in body consciousness is where I get entangled in attachment. He further says, when you feel that that is your home and your relations, then there is attachment. So now transform this limited responsibility into an unlimited responsibility. Then by you're having an unlimited responsibility, the limited responsibilities will automatically be finished. When you forget the unlimited, then To the extent that you use your time and thoughts in order to fulfill the limited responsibilities, instead of fulfilling them, you spoil them. So Baba is giving us the worst impact of serving as a limited responsibility. Although you may think you are fulfilling your responsibilities and looking after your duties, that is not really fulfilling and looking after them. Because of staying in a limited awareness, instead of becoming instruments to create the fortune of those souls, you become the instruments to spoil their fortune. Then, because those souls do not see your alokik behavior, they are deprived of forging a relationship with the alokik father. Then, instead of fulfilling your duties, you bring a sickness onto yourself. This is the sickness of attachment, and this sickness then automatically spreads to others. Then, whatever you consider to be your duty changes and takes on the form of a sickness. So, constantly make effort to transform this awareness of yours. That is, I am a householder, I have this bondage, I have this responsibility. Instead of this, remember your 5 main forms. Let's intensely get ourselves present to these 5 forms, because these are, according to me, very practical for one to use while we are performing our tasks throughout the day. They have shown the 5-faced Brahma and the 3-faced Brahma. So, you Brahmins also have to keep the 5 main forms in your awareness. Then the sickness will be removed and you will be able to carry on with the duty of being world benefactors. What are those forms? By staying in the awareness of which form will you forget all those forms? What are the 5 forms to keep in your awareness? Just as you speak of the 3 forms of the Father, that's the Father, Teacher, and the Satguru, so too you have 5 forms. These 5 forms are: I am a child, I am a godly student, I am a spiritual pilgrim, I am a warrior, I am a godly helper. There's a very beautiful word for the word godly helper, which is Khudai Khidmatkar. You should have these 5 forms in your awareness. When you wake up in the morning, you have a heart-to-heart conversation with a father, and that is in the form of a child. You celebrate a meeting with the father. So, as soon as you wake up, remember your form of being a child, then how can there be a household? So, when the soul celebrates a meeting and experiences all attainments, why should the intellect be drawn here and there? This proves that there is a weakness in the awareness of this first form at Amrit Vela. So the first form we practice at Amrit Vela. The second form of a godly student is what we practice while we go to the center to listen to the Murli and then imbibe those points to be practiced throughout the day. The third form, Baba says, is Ruhani Yatri, that is spiritual pilgrimage. Is I always remember that I am on the journey with other souls in this world, and each one is playing a role that he is expected to perform here. the fourth stage, what Baba mentions, is the stage of an warrior, a Rohani Yodha. So I am playing the role of a Rohani Yodha while anything that shows up during the day while I'm performing my task in the form of meditation, anger, or any differences of opinion. And the fifth form is where Baba says to become a Khudai Khidmatkar, godly helper, be an instrument and a trustee in everything that I'm doing, is all for the Almighty Authority's work here. So when the souls celebrate a meeting and experiences all attainments, why should the intellect be drawn here and there? This proves that there is a weakness in the awareness of this first form at Amrit Vela. This is why you constantly remember the forms that bring you into the stage of descent. In the same way, if you keep these five forms in your awareness according to the different activities from time to time, then by being the embodiment of remembrance, would you not be able to become the conquerors of attachment? Therefore, you were told the reason you find it difficult is that you do not look at your own face. Which face? Alokik face in the alokik mirror of knowledge. So, whilst performing actions, constantly look at these forms in your mirror and check that you have not developed another form instead of these five forms. Check that your makeup has not become spoiled. If you look at yourself, you can rectify any makeup that has become spoiled. And then you will easily become the conquerors of attachment for all time. Do you understand? You will now not say, how can we become the conquerors of attachment? Will you? No. This is how you become the conquerors of attachment. Change the word how into like this. कैसे को ऐसे में बदलो. Just as you bring into your awareness that you were like that and that you are once again becoming like that, so too you have to change the word how into like this. Instead of saying, how can we become this? Say, this is how you become this. Bring about this transformation and you will become as you originally were. The word how will finish and you will become like that. Acha, to those who become the embodiment of remembrance from being forgetful in 1 second, to the souls who are the conquerors of attachment and are constantly the embodiment of remembrance, to the powerful souls, love, remembrances, and namaste from Bab Dada. From we children, love, remembrance, and namaste to Bab Dada. Om Shanti. Let's pause for a few moments and then we shall reflect and share the points of the Murli. We can unmute and share our reflections and our takeaways from today's Murli.
Om Shanti. Wonderful Murli, and it's a deep, insightful Murli, well read. I would like to highlight this takeaway, very important takeaway for myself, is that the 5 forms which Baba has given today, that I'm a God's child, that is, I'm a Master Almighty Authority. Then during Murli time, and whenever I am referring to his teachings, I am a godly student in this university, godly university. Third is I am a spiritual pilgrim, traveler, who travels all the 3 worlds in 1 second and do the service. And the fourth one is I am a spiritual warrior. I'm not a victim. I'm a warrior. When in confrontation with Maya, I confront head on and emerge as victorious soul. And the fifth one is I'm God's helper, as in Hindi, Khudai Khidmatkar. It's a beautiful word which always reminds me and gives me this awareness that I am his right hand in the godly service. My mind, intellect, and sanskars are for godly service. God, please use me as a Khidmatkar. Thank you, Baba. Om Shanti.
Yeah, a very powerful takeaway, Om Bhai. And while yesterday I was reading this Murli, this was the first time that I got present to these 5 forms. Until then, for me, 5 forms were the Adi, Anadi Swarup, and the Brahmin and the Angel Swarup, those 5 forms that we do. This was a very intoxicating experience while Baba was mentioning on all of this, and then I was reflecting on as to how do I perform my task on a daily basis and look into the mirror of knowledge. That's one of the important takeaway for me as well.
Yes, sister, that's true for me also. I was not aware about these 5 forms. I used to take them as Soman, but 5 forms, this first time I came across. And Baba says it is to be applied according to the activity and according to the time. So wonderful. I mean, these 5 forms we can practice in practical manner. Thank you, Baba. Om Shanti.
Yes, Brother Ram, go ahead.
In fact, out of these 5 forms, 4 are related to 4 subjects. Easily remember. First one, of course, is a child. Then 4 subjects. Jnana is related to godly student. Yoga is related to spiritual become, doing yad ki yatra. Then warrior. So while doing dharana, Maya definitely comes into picture to create obstacles. So we are a warrior there. So we are winning over Maya and then doing the dharana. And then seva, Kudai Khidmatkar, godly helper. So 4 subjects related to 4 forms. And of course, the supreme one is we are children of God. Om Shanti.
Yeah, like you mentioned, brother, this is all about dharana, and this Murli is full of the subject on dharana, is what you brought in right now with your sharing. Thank you for sharing that.
Om Shanti, sister. So my takeaway point is I have to look into the mirror often and I have to correct my makeup. The mirror of self-respect, and the key point to win attachment is embodiment of remembrance. Om Shanti, sister.
Yeah, and this point again with Baba is brought in into this Murli, where he is giving an example of how in Lokik world we look into the mirror. And that is a very beautiful analogy with which he spoke about how to see in the alokik mirror of knowledge. Very true.
It's very beautiful, sister.
Om Shanti, sister.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Girijaben, go ahead.
Yeah, I thought, okay. Oh, when you really, the song which you played that itself took me away. You know, we used to listen to these songs about Juti Maya, Juti Kaya, Juta Bandhan, Kya Juta. We have heard all these songs, but it never went deep down in our intellect to understand. We just listened it to touch our emotions. I remember in my college days when I was Vaswani, the other Vaswani college, when I was there, he always used to say these songs really touch your mind and something it inculcates. You really put the foot for us when that song came. And I know Baba is trying to really shift me away. Some paradigm shift he was going to take. And immediately when you started the Murli, I just remembered his famous word, Nashta Moha Smriti Vallabh. It's just a capsule, but such a deep meaning today Baba has given. The meaning which we heard these songs when we were young, but the meaning now. Yes, this is what is that thing I like. He starts, you promised me something, right? So you promised me. That's the first way he takes us to that thing, your promise to me. Then he gives about all the other kind that you are Shakti Swarup, you are the one whom I've given direct this, you are more elevated than me, you are Master Almighty Authority. Then why attachment? Then why you're going to these limited people? You know, the way Baba is really teaching us this lesson on attachment. And that one word which hit me today is, like you spoke in English, but I just took it in Hindi. Had ki smriti, the smriti, you spoil your fortune or you're creating your fortune, you become sick. This thing really, why should I go to this Had ki smriti? Why should I not come out of it? Why should I be sick when my surgeon is telling me? This is what. But right through the Murli, I think there are streams of things really running through my mind. And I liked this one particular point, Sister.
Yes, Girijaben, especially when Baba is bathing us with those swamans of what kind of soul are you, as you rightly pointed out. And then if we reflect on that point of where you spoke about Smriti and Vismriti, and what is the impact that it has on your own self, one more reflection there that comes to me is the reflection of, while we are only talking about limited responsibilities or limited duties, and by doing that, we are actually ourselves becoming sick and making others sick. And the method that Baba is talking about is always stabilize yourself in that form of performing an unlimited responsibility and unlimited service, and unlimited duty, and limited will be anyway taken care of. That's another important point in today's Murli. Thanks for bringing that up. Yes, Harpreet Ben.
Yeah, Sister Rakhi, firstly, very beautiful Murli. And, I wanted to just share something very personal here. I used to never look into the mirror. I used to always feel, by looking into the mirror, you're becoming too body conscious. Like, looking at how you look and, even while going to work, I would be ready in 5 minutes, unlike the typical, long time people take to get ready. And very minimal makeup and just carry on. But this Murli has really made me reflect that I actually need to look at even the physical mirror more. Because this Murli today, you've done me a big favor. It has reminded me of something which I had forgotten. Even when I was a child, when I used to look into the mirror, I used to keep staring and wonder, who am I? And I had forgotten that I used to think that. I actually forgot. Today, for the first time, I've revived that memory. I used to wonder that, who is this person? Like, I used to keep asking this question, and I never used to look into the mirror. But now I feel, although Baba is talking of the Alokik mirror, I think looking even into the physical mirror, it's a big, big reminder of who you actually are. And you can question under those 5 very important Gyan taught today, those 5 points, and keep questioning yourself every day by looking into the mirror. So thank you to you, and thank you, Baba. Thank you to the Divine Family today. I actually remembered a childhood memory. And I've come back to reflecting on that. Om Shanti.
I resonate to what you're talking right now, Harpreet Ben, because if you remember, a couple of Murli's Baba mentions that your face also do service out there. So if we go deeper to what you just shared right now, only if I'm able to see my face as a practice in the Lokik mirror, would I also be able to reflect what is it vibrating out there as seen in the world. And that is going to be one of my checking point to take on as a practice from today. That invest 1 to 2 minutes daily to look into the mirror and experience my own state of energy that I'm radiating. So very deep point, though it looks to be very, on the face of it or very Lokik, but that's also one of the areas. And what I'm getting right now is once the center sister that I go to the center for Murli, she's mentioned once that and I think I shared this before also, there is a hawker out there down the center, and sisters take a walk in the evening. And one fine day, they haven't gone down. The next day when they had gone for a walk, this hawker tells the sister, now looking at you all, I get a lot of energy, and yesterday I missed that energy. That itself shows how much your face and your presence makes does the alokik service out there. So thank you for bringing that up, Harpreet Ben. And we all are instruments for each one of us to move forward in our journey.
Om Shanti, sister, just to add a reflection to what the sister said, I had a habit always looking into the mirror. I don't know why. Maybe it was a mirror conscious. I used to look at every contours of my face to see, oh, what is this? What is that? But somewhere in between that, I used to go deep that, what is this beyond these eyes, Girija? You're somebody else, something else. Then I used to say, no, it's all illusion and all. I had this habit of looking into the mirror, looking into things to know what is beyond what I see as myself. But I never used to get an answer, one. Secondly, in Baba, whenever he says, look at the mirror, I remember only one sentence. Are you worthy of marrying Lakshmi? Those kind of things only, that kind of statements I have. So I'm just wondering how different souls are in the world when they land here. What are the different kinds of things which they have, and how Baba gives each one of us a thing to explore. Each one of us are different. And Baba, how he brings all these different strokes together with just this one smriti, you are a soul. Sister, I had just one doubt. You have these 5 forms. Child, well, I understood. Student, okay. Pilgrim, all this tells me that the life is limited. Godly helper is just to Khudai Khidmat. But can you just say on this warrior thing, I am a warrior. What is the thought to it should run? I was just thinking, is it talking about Tivra Purusharthi? Could you please add point on this 4th form, which Baba has given today? I am a warrior.
So I would invite others to share if they want to share any reflection on this before I share my thoughts on it. Would anybody like to share on this?
Om Shanti, as I told some time back, dharana is related to this warrior, because we have to don the divya guna, divine virtues. So in the process, we have to fight with Maya. So unless you do that, you cannot do the dharana of all the virtues. And Baba tells very clearly, he tells Maya to go and fight with us, have a good fight with us, so that we'll come out in a proper way with all good godly virtues. So as you said, Devara Purushadhi, yes, a warrior has to do Devara Purushadhi also. There only he can get the dharana. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, just adding one reflection to Rama Bhai. is the warrior in the this is basically a self-respect, a Swaman, that I am a spiritual warrior, not a victim. If you see the contrast of a warrior and a victim, both are on the battlefield, but one emerges victorious through his light might, and other one becomes, subject and gets influenced by the Maya, so becomes a victim. So we have to constantly remind ourselves that I'm a warrior, I'm a victorious soul, I'm a powerful soul. And this remembrance itself makes us powerful. We become embodiment of higher stage. So warrior means, and Maya, we have, if you see the example of Mahabharata also, which is actually, Baba says, it's practical form, Mahabharati Ladai, that battle is going on inside. And the weak thoughts, the waste thoughts are the Maya. And once we conquer them, through powerful remembrance, and what happens is we get a lot of attachments to the present role, and the bodily form, and the limited remembrances. So they try to bring the stage down, and then we fail. So we have to be very careful that I am concerned. So these methods which Baba has given today, Nashto Moha, these methods are very, very practical methods. We have to use one of the method which is working best for us. For example, alaukic birth. We should not see that the limited drama. We should always have a vision and attitude to see the unlimited drama, where we are always victorious. So that energy, when we draw and then fight this battle, we are easily, naturally, we are victorious. And God is not going to fight this war for us. God is giving us the knowledge. We have to fight this. In Mahabharata also, Sri Krishna never fought the war. It is the Pandavas who fought the war with the support of God, of Sri Krishna. So that is the point. Om Shanti, in my view. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Just adding on to what Ombai said. Yeah, warrior is also means that you're already on the field of battle. Baba often says this in Chakar Murli, that you're already on the battlefield, or you're already on the ring. You're boxing. So when you're on the battlefield, then you will always be very vigilant. You'll be alert, right? You'll be always paying attention all around, right? If if your attention is lost then on the battlefield, then you lose your life, right? So here the warrior means, I think that's what Papa means. You have to be always vigilant. You should be always watching over Maya, how, where, and what is the door that I've kept open for Maya to come in. Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful sharings, Girijaben. I hope you got an answer to your question. Are you there, Girijaben?
No, a little, I don't know what happened. I'm there now. My question was just, how do I take it as a swaman for conquering attachment? That's why I went to the chat, because I couldn't hear in between.
Anyone like to add on this?
Om Shanti. For me, if you say, how do I make it a Swaman? Swaman, I'm believing it to be in English a quality, right? A belief, a system. So if every action that I take is towards purity, is towards helping others, is towards fearlessly moving ahead. That fearlessness or the courage is symbolic of a warrior. So when you have no fear, you conquer attachment actually, automatically. They're quite linked. Why do you feel attached to somebody or some items? You have the fear of losing it. So the day you conquer the fear, and the fear gets conquered when you are fearless and courageous. And so the warrior element actually is linked to fearlessness, is the way I'm connecting to the Swaman. And therefore, when we meditate every day, besides saying I'm a pure soul and peaceful soul, I'm a courageous soul, I'm a fearless soul, is also very, very important. It strengthens your soul and affects your mind, body, soul vibration in a very powerful manner. Om Shanti.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
adding
I
on to
think
what. Yeah, go ahead.
what she said, Rakhi Ben, a little I could just get. She spoke about one word, fear. So I think Baba wants me to raise that because this Nashtamaha is only for the final scene. Unless I'm a warrior, I won't be able to fight the impure vibrations, fight the impure souls. So I was just linking, maybe Baba wants me to remember that form of a warrior. After what the sister spoke, I just took it like that.
Yeah, while sister was sharing and while you asked this question, for me it is like, if I stay in the self-respect point of who I am as a spiritual warrior, in that way, if anything that shows up while I'm performing any action and task throughout the day, that will come as an huddle and not an hurdle for me. The Swaman will support me to face each of these things that is showing up in the Lokik world, to accept it and move forward gracefully. That's the reflection that I have on
And
this question.
yeah, and you have done it in the previous kalpa. You've been victorious in the previous kalpa. You have conquered it in the previous kalpa, and you're doing it in this kalpa, and you will do it in the next kalpa also, because you, the one who has been doing it in kalpa after kalpa, because Baba has seen it, and that's why Baba is telling us. Om Shanti.
Yeah. So that brings up to another Swaman, that I am a victorious soul. I am a spiritual warrior who is always victorious. Thank you, Bijit Bhai, for bringing that up. We can take one last sharing.
Yeah, I would like to just invoke everybody's thought on one aspect, the beautiful aspect which has come out from today's Murli is, if I say in Hindi, Nashto Moha Smriti Labda. So it is a reversible reaction, if I can make out. If you become a Nashto Moha, that is conqueror of attachment, automatically you become embodiment of remembrance. And then later part of the Murli Baba says, if you are embodiment of remembrance, all the attachments you are able to easily conquer, and you get on to the powerful stage. I think it works both ways. Can we have a little sharing on this, or maybe some other time because of time limitation?
Can I quickly add
It's
one
a
point?
forward as well as reverse reaction.
Can I quickly add on one point what we said? In fact, sometime back in Pandavon, I had a class wherein it was told, first love yourself, fly. First love yourself. If you love yourself, you want to be successful, then you know that you require a good hand to help you in that. That is none other than Baba. So then you start loving Baba. If you love Baba, then you forget about your other people and then other attractions. So automatically you become pure and your vikaras will finish and certainly you will succeed. So basically all the problems come because we really don't love ourselves. That means the soul. As a soul, we don't love ourselves seriously. So if we seriously love ourselves as a soul, we learn that we have to love Baba. And if you love Baba, then only you can forget about other things, other people. Om Shanti.
Correct. Bhaiji, you mean to say कि Smriti, Baba ka Smriti, the remembrance of God will automatically make these soul powerful so that the attachments can be conquered.
Yeah, then as you said, the reverse will happen.
Yeah.
Nastamoha Smriswarupa reverse is Smriti Swarupa Nastamoha will happen. Om Shanti.
That's true.
Wonderful, awesome sharings and takeaway for each one of us. Let's now take few moments of silence for each one of us to reflect on the 5 forms that Baba speaks today of. Who I am is Baba's child. While I get up in the morning at Amrit Vela, I stabilize myself in that Swaman. While I move on to the next part of the day, I be a godly student, listening to the Murli and Baba's knowledge, imbibe that for the entire day by becoming a spiritual traveler, remembering that each soul that comes in my connection is on a journey and playing the role he or she is expected to play. I be in the form of a spiritual warrior, while I see any air of disturbance or challenge that comes up in performing the activities of the day. And above all, today, I promise myself and the Almighty Father that I will be and I am rather a godly helper, खुदाई खिदमतगार, while I'm performing any deed, action, or also coming across any thought that fits my intellect and my mind. I am an instrument and a trustee. Everything that I do is in the remembrance of God, and it's His work. He is the Karan Karavan, and I am only following His instructions to perform the role, the task that I am meant to perform. With this command, I come back to take up my Lokik responsibilities as being an unlimited responsible soul. Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Divine Family, for such wonderful churnings. And let's imbibe as in homework all these 5 forms for the entire day and practice this ongoingly. We shall meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Thank you